Hello and welcome to this edition of the Potomac Local News Podcast. I'm your host, founder and publisher of PotomacLocalNews.com, Uriah Kiser. We're entering our 15th year of providing local news for our communities in Fredericksburg, Manassas, and Woodbridge, and we couldn't be more excited to bring you this podcast. Today on the podcast, we're talking about all things local real estate. Joining us on the podcast today is Craig Wade, president of the Prince William Association of Realtors, and Matthew Rathbun, president-elect of the Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. We'll get into what the market looks like, how people are getting into it, and all things you need to know about making your next purchase here in Northern Virginia. But before we do, we want to say thank you for listening on your podcast platform. Please subscribe. If you're watching this and listening on YouTube, well, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit the bell notification to be notified when we post new Potomac Local News content, and it also tells the algorithm at YouTube that you want more local news conversations just like this in your feed. And if you say, hey, Uriah, I like to read my daily news email, well, that's okay. We got you covered because we send out 2 daily email newsletters. You can get those for free at our website, PotomacLocalNews.com. Click on newsletter and subscribe. We'll be sure to send those free daily email newsletters to you with everything having to do with new restaurants, fun things to do, what happens in your child's school, what happened at the city council meeting, everything else local between Fredericksburg, Manassas, and Woodbridge. Get those for free at PotomacLocalNews.com. Now, with all that business aside, let's get into today's discussion with Craig and Matthew. Thank you both for joining us on the Potomac Local News Podcast.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for having us.
So, Craig, I'm going to start with you first. When we talk about key trends in our area, what are some of the things that you've seen housing market trends over the past year in 2024 and now as we get into 2025?
Okay. Well, people have been buying homes, people have been selling homes, but right now, from my perspective, it's still a seller's market right now. They are, if you list a home that's priced right, the right location, you're not going to have any problem selling it. And the buyers are out there, but right now they're just kind of sitting back. And I think that's due to the interest rates. They have not gone down. They went down probably towards the end of last year. But as of 2025, the rates are kind of itching back up, slowly, but they're still going up. So that has a double effect. That one, the sellers who want to sell, now they have to go buy a home in a higher price interest rate. And then, but if they don't buy and move, then the people that are trying to get into the market, it's hard for them, especially first-time home buyers. It's very hard to come up with a lot of money for a down payment. But there are different programs that we do have.
And what are you seeing as the home buyers who are moving into our area? Are they first-time home buyers? Have they lived in Northern Virginia for a while? Are they trading up? And with the prices are just exponentially increasing in our area, what challenges are these buyers facing when they're looking at moving into, say, a Prince William or a Stafford or a Fredericksburg or even a Fairfax?
Okay, well, everybody's kind of trying to move into Northern Virginia. And again, that includes the Fredericksburg area. They're first-time home buyers. It's just a little harder for them. Typically, luckily we have some first-time home buyer programs that can assist them with down payments and things like that. But then you have the people that want to move up. And, they're trying to move up too. But the problem when you have the move up category is that they need to move in homes that are currently living in, and those are the sellers. And again, the sellers are not going to get exactly what they want. They may wait a little while because they do have to move forward to another complex, maybe a 55 and older community or something like that. But those are hard to get into. They're not making a lot. So basically, our inventory remains low, along with high interest rates. It's just kind of slowing things down right now.
Matthew, at the end of the year, we saw a surge in housing activity in the Fredericksburg area, but the number of just the growth in units sold and the median price increased late last year. What drove that growth?
I think that as you get further south from DC, affordability becomes a big factor. Infrastructure is a big factor. Fredericksburg's really grown over the years and provides a great deal for families and at a more affordable price. And with some of the great work that VDOT's been doing to make travel up and down the interstate easier. It doesn't seem like it when you get up to Craig's area of Prince William, but when you get from Prince William down, it's generally better, a little easier to get to, and some of the changes they made travel easier. What just to note about the end of the year change, this is the first normal seasonal cycle that we've actually seen since pre-COVID. That the school it makes a difference when school opens. Job transfers make a difference. The military and the government housing moves and orders became a little more fluid, and those folks are again looking for affordability, but not too far. And Fredericksburg offered that, so I think that's probably one of the major factors here. When you're looking at factors, it's never just one factor. And I know we like to talk about interest rates. It's a factor. It's a notable factor. But in the past 20 years, we have seen the average household income only double, but housing has gotten 4 times more expensive. Childcare is 4 times more expensive. And our entry-level first-time home buyers are looking for somewhere where childcare is affordable, where shopping is more accessible, and there's more, again, affordability and lifestyle opportunity. And when you get to Prince William, Fredericksburg, we have that without the tax influence and cost of living increases of some of our northern neighbors.
So one of the things that we reported on in 2024 was Prince William County Public Schools, their enrollment has plateaued, right? And fewer births, fewer enrollments in schools. And so that what leads me to wonder, where are the families moving? Where are the 2.5 children households going in our region? Are they looking for places further south to get more bang for their buck? Are they and then those families with, especially although so many federal workers in our area, and now they're all being called back to the office with the new administration. Do we anticipate more growth in the outer areas of Fredericksburg, Caroline County, and further south to Richmond, maybe further out toward Winchester? What do you think?
We all like to pretend we have these crystal balls to tell what's going on. And I think there's one thing we know just in the past 2 weeks is no one quite knows for certain government is going to elect to do, right? It's the most unpredictable administration I think we've probably had in at least my lifetime. And there's equal demand to come back to in-person work, but there's also a high risk of staffing reduction. And I think a lot of the folks that we're talking to are already looking at private sector jobs and even contractors for the government to go work for, assuming that there's going to be cutbacks and reduction in federal staffing. So those folks are often looking for remote work. And again, as you mentioned, King George, Caroline County, now Orange has better internet than they had before. Those areas are investing in internet infrastructure to make it easier to do telework and working from home jobs, which is, a lot of, I know everybody is looking for work from home jobs, but really a hyper focus on our highly educated and skilled knowledge workers. They want that with affordability and better life for their children. So, anything Prince William and South becomes much more affordable than just going over that line north.
If the younger families are looking for affordability, then one of the things that you mentioned at the top of this podcast, Craig, is the senior living areas, and Prince William doesn't have a lot of them. They're not making a lot of them, as you said. So as those areas that Matthew just mentioned, Orange County, Caroline County, King George County, south of Prince William, as they continue to grow, what type of inventory does Prince William County need to bring in or remake to attract new buyers and continue to grow, or does it not need to do anything? Does it just need to continue to just be the old Prince William County it always has been, and just let them roll in?
It's very interesting. You mentioned that. Prince William is growing. I was at the State of the County meeting last night with our supervisor chair, Ms. Sandra Jefferson. Prince William is really growing. The schools are doing well. I mean, we are in, I think, the 10th most diverse county in the country, and that's something to be proud of. But as far as people are still trying to get to Prince William, especially the people that have been living in Alexandria and Arlington. They're kind of moving south again. As Matthew had mentioned, the further south you go, typically you get a little bit more. But what we're building here currently, we have several new developments that's going to be going on. We have a major one that's going to be shop, residential, restaurant type area. It's going to be, I think it's called the Quartz District. We have just completed one fourth season Kaufmanian 55 and older community. I think that kind of sold out in about a year and a half. There's some other things that are on the book. So there's a lot of building, but it's just not enough. I think Matthew could probably agree. If we built, 3 or 4 different communities, today, we could sell those out within a year and a half at the latest. The need is there, the desire is there.
That Quartz District that you mentioned will be located at the intersection of Prince William Parkway and Minnieville Road, and it will have, I believe, I believe it's a Trader Joe's that's going in there, and Whole Foods. Thank you. I got the two confused. And believe over the years I've been doing this, going into our 15th year now, I don't know how many stories I've written about people who want either a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's, and they don't have to go to Fairfax or Arlington to get there. So that's going to be a big deal. So, and thank you for that, Whole Foods. It is. So when you talk about the inventory, it sounds like we just need more inventory. More product, more homes to build. Is there specific types and where, or we just need all types all over? And I'll throw this out there to both of you guys. What types? Talk about the strain on inventory and what you'd like to see more of.
I'll go first, Matthew.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I think we need a combination. We see a lot of condo people that are trying to move up to a 3-bedroom townhome, or even a detached home. So they're starting there, but the starting point now for 1 and 2-bedroom condos, you're approaching almost 200,000. So now you look at your townhome 3 bedrooms, everything is moving up. So yeah, we need them all. We probably need some smaller villas, but you got to realize from a builder's perspective, the more that they can compact in there, the more money that they will make. But somehow, and then you kind of transition to the word affordable. If we look at affordable housing, yes, we're going to need more density there to, help those people out that are trying to come into the community. So there's a need out here, and we take all the type of homes. Yes, we have some real big homes here in Prince William, but at the same time, we could use a lot more basic 3 to 4 bedroom homes. Could be townhomes or single family, and senior citizens, of course.
Matthew, as these jurisdictions grow, traditional development patterns have been homes on, 1 acre lots or, small, half-acre lots or something like that, the traditional neighborhood. And so as you look out and see these areas growing, they're obviously, I doubt they're going to start with a bunch of condo buildings and apartment buildings, but what type of developments are going in, and what do you think should go into these orange counties, Caroline counties, and so on?
So, there's a lot to unpack there, and I'm going to start off with this. That the National Association of Realtors says that we're about 5 million properties under development. In other words, we're not building enough to create sustainability because more competition, more properties keeps prices low. Scarcity builds an increase in price. And when we look at the Fredericksburg region, we are slowing in the sales, but we are increasing in sales price. And when we look at what's actually selling, it is the higher level homes, because entry level, mid-income home buyers, those families you mentioned with the 2.5 children, they can't afford to buy a home here. And so then we start looking in other areas. And unfortunately, a lot of this, we focus a lot on federal policies and their impact, but really local policies have a much more substantive impact on affordability. And when you look at those counties you mentioned, a lot of counties in Virginia, the supervisors are doing everything they can to push back on development and growth. And it sounds great. Like people who buy there, I bought rural, I want to stay rural. But the problem is that costs and goods and services continue to increase. Your fire, your rescue, your police, school teachers, infrastructure all increases. And with fewer people to carry the tax burden, your taxes go up. That's the cost of having fewer developments around you. And so we're seeing certain counties push back with a very heavy-handed policies or ordinances that will significantly restrict development. Right now, one of the big we have isn't the interest rate, it's the lack of land being available for builders to build, because the ubiquity of progress, a smart path to progress, builds affordability for those families. And so all of this leads to multi-generational housing being our biggest need. We are at a point, for all the numbers I mentioned earlier, with young families. Their mom and dad are younger. I'm 49 with 2 grandchildren and 3 daughters. And I got an invitation to sit down with a young man today who wants to talk about one of my daughter's futures. And so we're going to go to trading goats and seeing what we can do. But
boy, that's going to be a good one.
But we're younger as parents of adult children. We're healthier. We have a lot going on. We can help them better. And so multi-generational housing may be an option. Luckily, we haven't had to do that, but I'm open to it. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for homes that are affordable, with healthy infrastructure in the area, and I think multifamily. And again, the initiatives of the counties to help support affordable housing are very important. And it's not always the most fun thing to do as a politician. Affordability tends to bring negative connotations, but it's the only way for communities to grow in the upcoming years.
What I'm getting there from you is no building, no growth is not a plan. It's you have to have some sort of plan for growth.
That's right. And, there's the National Association of Realtors has programs like the Smart Growth Initiative, where a group of people who have successfully deployed this in certain jurisdictions can come in and give advice or help. And they're looking at things like, look at Spotsylvania Town Center, the mall. They took off the Sears element. They added some townhomes, which is right there off the interstate, that reduces traffic and everything else. But we don't shop at malls anymore. And so these malls could become and be renovated to be great.
That's a great example when you talk about the Attain there at Spotsylvania Town Center and those condos that they put in there. I think it's a great reimagining of this open space, which the Sears closed, they tore down the department store. It's without those homes there would just be open parking lots. So we'll be watching things like that. We'll see if the commuters actually they come back to the commuter lots. I mean, we have in Woodbridge, we have the state's largest commuter lot at Horner Road, and there was even talk during the COVID years, we'll call it 2021, 2022, about putting the Washington Commanders right there in that area. That was a site that was considered for that. And of course, we watch. And you made the point, we don't shop at malls anymore. Well, don't tell anybody that who went to Potomac Mills at Christmas time, but maybe at in January and February, when we don't see a lot of traffic, the value of land is only going up. It'd be interesting to watch how much Potomac Mills could change and maybe take a bite out of what Spotsylvania Town Center did, and maybe reconfigure some of its under traffic property there. So that whole area, which largely surface parking, a lot of land that take up by pavement, collects a lot of sunlight during the day when no one's there, and so it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. And the other thing that the no growth thing we watched in Prince William County for 20 plus years of this rural crescent, and which limited development in the western part of the county, the rural part of the county that did not have water or sewer to it, to homes per 10 acres, one home per 10 acres. And, we watched locally elected politicians wrangle over how to develop this, what to do with it, leave it, open it up. And one smart guy once told me, his name was, he was the chairman of the board for 15 or so years, Corey Stewart. And he said, having nothing, one home per 10 acres is not anyone's idea of smart development, because what's going to happen is you're just going to have one home dotting every 10 acres and all that land's going to be taken up. And so you really can't drive the future and smart, especially when you're thinking about smart development. If you leave policies like that, no growth, slow growth policies in place, you have to have a plan. So that we watched that happen in Prince William County. Finally, gentlemen, I know you said you don't have a crystal ball, but I'm going to pretend like you do, and that you're omnipotent and all-knowing and all-seeing. And Craig, let me start with you. What are your expectations and predictions for the real estate market in 2025? in our area?
Okay. I do believe our inventory is going to increase. Nothing crazy, but I would love to get a 5% to 10% increase in our inventory out there to sell. The Fed already announced they're not going to do 4 cuts this year. They'll probably do 2. So hopefully that will help a little bit. Again, I think we just need to be ready to receive and support the buyers that are out there, and at the same time provide some assistance to the sellers, the people that are getting ready to transition to a 55 and older community or to a smaller house. I mean, I'm almost in that situation now. I would love to move to a smaller home, but we just haven't found one that we like. I mean, downsizing, I think, is important. And then somebody else can move up into a home that we have today. And you did mention one thing I would say was true. There's a little difference sometimes between the eastern side and the western side of Prince William County. And again, yes, Corey Stewart, I think, was spot on, one home for 10 acres. But a lot of times you see that, the west sides are looking at a lot of data centers. So there's a lot of different things that we're trying to do. And again, that's, it may not create a lot of jobs except for the building, but after that, the tax part that we get from data centers are great. But I look for a positive and successful 2025. A lot of changes coming up.
Craig brought in the lightning rod of all Virginia politics, the data center there. So we're going to pretend like you didn't say that. No, I'm just kidding. Now, data centers are something we've been covering all around, and they are a part of our daily lives now. And they are coming into the Fredericksburg region as well. It used to just be, Loudoun and Prince William and so on, but we're seeing them pop up all over the Fredericksburg area. And so, Matthew, what's your outlook for the Fredericksburg area realtor this 2025?
I think a lot of this is going to be based on the confidence in our local, state, and national governments. If there's some stability, if people start believing that there are true smart growth initiatives, they'll start investing in where they can and what they can do. I think that we're still going to struggle with the affordable housing elements for a few years until we get some better policies in place. Our realtor associations, political action committees, and legislative groups who are smarter than I am are working hard with the counties to try to convince them and show them the wisdom of smart growth and not being anti-growth. When we have plenty of hard-learned lessons through the last housing crisis that we're trying to show them, hey, don't repeat this history. I don't think there's going to be a significant change in the interest rates where we're not going to go back to what we saw before, which means consumers are realizing that they're saving more smart and they're availing themselves of great products. The Virginia Housing Authority has grant money for first-time home buyers. Because the market has been so fast-paced and so challenging for first-time home buyers over the past several years, people aren't availing themselves of those funds. And I think as the market normalizes and continues to be, where we are now, agents and loan officers and consumers who are seeking that knowledge will find those type of investment tools or opportunities, not investment tools, but resources rather, available to them, and maybe taking action to start building their wealth through housing and real estate properties. So I see the middle income producers, high income producers, income earners rather, probably doing quite well in the company market. We still need to focus on that lower end, because that lower end is what helps build everybody's equity up and move everybody up. And they are just an underserved community that we are working very hard to help get into that American dream and buy the home that's good and safe for them and their families.
Matthew Rathbun, he's the president, president-elect, Fredericksburg Area Association of Realtors. Thank you so much for coming on today, and congratulations on your family, your grandchildren, and your daughters, and what sounds like maybe some coming change to the family. You'll have to come back on and update us on that. But that all sounds like things that you're in a great spot with the business and family, and so congratulations to you. Craig Wade is the president of the Association of Prince William Association of Realtors. Thank you for coming on and giving us the East versus the West. That's the way we always always seem to categorize it. But talk about the dynamic market that is Prince William County and how people are still, no matter what, still coming to Prince William and to get into that market. Craig, it was very insightful.
Oh, thank you. No problem. It's a pleasure appearing with you. And you too, Matthew.
Yeah, thank you. It was good seeing you again, Craig. Thank you so much for your time and for the invitation to come chat.